Hey guys, Lloyd Hook here. Going to show you how to use the IO Swiss AX1 app. This is the home screen that you'll see after you subscribe to our service. So this is showing me right now in my location via GPS near downtown Tulsa, Oklahoma. First thing I want to show you is we have airports displayed. The R airports are private airports, the blue are towered airports, and the magenta are non-towered airports. And you'll see the airspaces are also displayed here around Riverside Airport, KRVS. There's a blue circle around KRVS, that's Class Delta airspace. And if you click on the circle, you'll see that some of the details for that Class D airspace. It's from the surface to 3,100 feet MSL. And I'll go ahead and click on the magenta for the Class C around Tulsa International. It's from 2,300 feet MSL to 4,700 feet MSL. I can also click on the airports themselves. So here I'll click on Riverside Airport, KRVS, and I get some information about Riverside Airport. It's at 638 feet. It's a towered airport, and here are the runways: 01 left, 19 right, 01 right, 19 left, and 1331. And you'll get the length of the runway and the width of the runway. For 01 left, it's 5,101 feet long and 100 feet wide. Some important frequencies that you need to know: the tower frequency, the ground frequency, CTAF, Unicom, clearance delivery, ATIS, and the approach departure for that airport. So I'll close that. Now, one of the first things you want to do when you're flying is you want to set up a route. So for instance, if I was going from here, I'm in my office in Tulsa, but if I was wanting to go to Tulsa International, I'd click on Tulsa International and I can do a direct route there. So that'll give me the course to next, which is 63 degrees. That's my ground course, distance 5.8 nautical miles. And then the time would update. If I was actually in my airplane, it would update based on my current velocity, my ground speed. And my course now and ground speed you see here are -1, and that's basically means that they are not valid because I'm not moving. I'm just sitting here in my office. If I want to clear that, on the bottom right, you'll see I can clear my route. I can also create a more complicated route. So if I go back again, I'll click on KTUL, and I'll add that to route, and it gives me the same line that I had before, which I can use to navigate in my airplane. And then if I click on KRVS, I can also add that to route, and then it'll give you a route from my current location to KTUL and then to KRVS. Now if I go to settings, I can scroll here to navigation, and I can the first thing in navigation says minimum distance to achieve waypoint. So right now it's disabled, but if I wanted, or right now it's at 0.55 nautical miles. So if I get within 0.55 nautical miles of Tulsa International, then it's going to switch over and direct me to Riverside from there. I can disable that by sliding this down to 0, or I can make it up to 1 nautical mile. So I'll keep mine at maybe something like 0.2 nautical miles. Now on the settings here, there's a couple of other interesting things that you probably need to know. The top one, data collection. So we automatically do a recording, in this case, when my ground speed reaches 20 knots. I can turn that off, I can turn that to 40 knots. We keep it at 20 knots by default because we figure if you're on the runway, you're taxiing, you won't be underneath that, but we want to make sure we get the takeoff and landing, and so I'll keep it at 20 knots. And also after the recording, or I'm sorry, after you have recorded and you landed, once you go below 20 knots, the recording will automatically go off. Let's talk a little bit more about the settings here. So if you want to connect to X-Plane Simulator, we just slide that over there, and then there's a couple settings you need to do in X-Plane, which you can Google, or I can put another video on that one out on how to do that. Going down into navigation, projected track vector. So this gives you a vector along your current ground trajectory that's either 1 minute out all the way through 10 minutes out, or you can do it by nautical miles, 5, 10, or 25 nautical miles in front. The show curve projection line will show you a curved projection depending on your turn rate, your current turn rate. And then you'll see that the terms and privacy is also there. You can log out of the device, or you can even delete user data, but that's kind of an extreme thing in case somebody wants to completely delete all their data and all the references we have to you, but you'll have to start over in that case. Okay, let's go back to the map and we'll talk about that a little more. First thing at the top right, you'll see my aircraft that I've selected is 2713 uniform. That's my airplane. I can pull down this button here. You see some of my other airplanes. Some of them are default, and then the F-16 is an X-plane airplane that I fly. I can add aircraft, and it's pretty simple. So just put in the tail number and aircraft type here. So for instance, maybe I want to do November 23456, and then we'll say that aircraft type is a Cessna 182. Put it in there like that. I'll save it, and you see now it's up there in the top right. That's the airplane I've selected. If I want to go back to my actual airplane 2713 uniform, I click that. Another thing here about the map in the top left of the header, you'll see our subscription status, and so that's where you can check which subscription you have and when it ends. Right now I'm on the monthly subscription. And you'll also see that there's 13,233 airports and 1,278 airspaces that are loaded. This gets loaded when you first open the map every time. I want to clear this route. So when I clear the route, it'll get rid of this bottom row here, this row below the map, and this 63 degrees to next. Also, you'll see that they have this little kind of window here that says X-plane mode selected. That's just to let you know that you've selected the X-plane mode. If I want to turn that off, I go back to settings, and then go back to this flight simulation tab, and then turn that button off, and back to map, and you see that's cleared. So I'm going to go ahead and clear my route. Let me give you a little bit of a walkthrough about some of the controls on the map itself. So first thing is the hamburger at the top left, and if I click on that, you'll see right now we can turn on or off the airspaces. If that's something that's confusing, I'll turn them off here, and you see all the airspace symbology goes away. Let's turn them back on there. Okay, and I'll get rid of that. And now let's kind of zoom out. So we'll zoom out and we'll get a better view of the country if we want to do long distance. And you see some of the major airports here are represented at this zoomed out view. But as I go in, some of the more minor airports start to show up, and here just the airports that looks like the airports that are not private, towered and non-towered alike. But when I get closer, even you'll see some of the private airports show up. Okay, so I'll zoom back out. Another thing I want to show you is the VFR map. So we have a complete set of VFR map tiles. So if we click on the VFR map, so right now it says off above the slider thing where you can switch through the different tabs. I'll turn the VFR map on here, and then the app will download the VFR map from our servers. And you'll see we have, if I zoom out a little bit more, you'll see we have maps for the entire US as it gets downloaded. Obviously you can't really do much with this this zoomed out version, so we want to zoom in here. We'll zoom into Tulsa, and the resolution will improve as the higher resolution maps download here. So I'm sitting inside my my office, so the cellular data is not great inside here. It'll be better outside, but anyway, okay, that's a few seconds, no problem. And so now I can actually look at the VFR map tile. So I'm going to turn the airspaces off so we get a clearer picture of the VFR map underneath. And so, for instance, I'll look here at Tulsa International. I'll see the control tower is 118.7, ATIS is 124.9, and then the elevation is 768 feet at Tulsa International. So I can confirm that by clicking on Tulsa International. I see that 677 feet. So that's a little bit of a update there. And the tower frequencies, you see 118.7 for runway 18 right, 18 left, and 121.2, which is actually the one that's used quite a bit more. You'll see that in the VFR map too. Okay, maybe we're going to a different airport now. I want to look over here. Let's go to this one. This is the Stillwater Airport here, and you'll see that there's it's a towered airport, and you notice that not only on the VFR map tile, but also looking at the blue airport icon on, and it says KSWO. If I click on that, then I'll get some more information. It's a towered airport. It's 1,000 feet, and here's the runways in this. One of the other things that I think is super important when you're planning a flight is to look at the weather. So I can look at the real-time METAR right now. So I'll see that the winds are 50 at 5. The altimeter is 30.12 inches of mercury. Visibility, sky conditions, temperature, dew point, all those kind of things. And then you have the raw METAR text there too if you'd like to decode that. We also have TAF for this airport. Looks like the winds from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. this morning are 80 at 5, something like that. And we have broken clouds at 20,000 feet. The winds at altitude, we can look at this and we can see the winds at altitude here. At 6,000 feet, we have winds 210 at 17 knots and on, and there's also the temperatures too. So these are all the data that's provided by the National Weather Service, the aviation branch of that. So I'll close that. And then let's zoom back out here. Now let's give you a little bit of information and we'll go through the different tabs. So here is a data tab. So right now we are getting location data, but you see it's not updating very much because the GPS in this building is not great, but once you're outside it'll be a lot better. So I'll give you the location data on top and then motion data, which will come on whenever we push the recording button. So I'll go ahead and push the recording button so you can see here. And you see now the motion data that's of my iPad, and you see that's kind of changing. So the iPad has inertial sensors inside that measure your bank angle and these type of things. This data will also be updated by the X-Plane simulator if you're running on X-Plane mode. Now the other tab here is waypoints, and so this is a pretty cool one, I think. So these are all the waypoints I have saved. Now, maybe you want to put your own waypoint in here, and maybe you want to do it on the map. So if I wanted to make a waypoint, let's just say right above where I'm at here, or well, actually let's turn the VFR map off, and we'll do Mohawk Park here. So if I long press on this pond here, it's kind of a lake, Mohawk Lake, north of Tulsa, you'll see that it gives a waypoint, which is a magenta star, and it's given a name associated with the latitude and longitude. If I want to edit that, so I can just click on that, and then I can do a direct route there, and it'll give me the same information that the one with Tulsa International gave us, or I can click on it and I can edit that, or let's just delete it first, and then I'll clear the route, and then let's add another one, and then I'll edit it, and I'll show you. So I'll long press here, and then edit this, and I can go in here and I can put any name I want. Maybe I want to say this is North Tulsa, so I'll add that, North Tulsa. Okay, then I'll update, and you'll see now North Tulsa is what the waypoint is called. Now you see up here in the top right of the screen, I'll close that, top right of the screen, you'll see that I am recording. So when I'm recording, the location data and the motion data is all being captured by the app. So this will eventually be sent to our servers, and you'll be able to, after your flight, you'll be able to look at your flight data, and it'll record all of the flights using this app. So I'll just give you a little bit of an idea too. If I go to background mode, if I want to open up some other app here, let's just open my Kindle here. So I'll see my Kindle here, and while I'm doing something else, hopefully you won't be doing this too much while flying, but I'm still recording. So if I go back to the AX1 app, you'll see that my recording is still on. So this app does record location data in background mode as long as the recording's on. Now if the recording is off, it turns off the location updates to save battery. Okay, so if I also go back to my waypoints here, I can see that North Tulsa is here, and at the very bottom you'll see that. And so if I click on that, we'll be able to edit just the same way we could in the map view. And that's about it. We're adding new functionality all the time, and we're excited to get this app to the App Store, and so you guys can download it. So thanks a lot.